Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and keep the change, you filthy animal. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margot D. Hello, my friend.
Guys, I'm eating junk and watching rubbish. You better come out and stop me.
And there's more. Joining us is our podcasting brother from another mother, Adam Riske from F This Movie. Hello, friend.
Here's a voltage adapter. I don't know.
I was not expecting that one. That's one of my favorite lines.
Yeah, I don't even think that one's on IMDb.
We are dorking out about the Christmas classic, the holiday classic, Home Alone from 1990. It's written by John Hughes. It's directed by Chris Columbus, Adam's favorite director.
Yeah.
It stars Macaulay Culkin, Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern, John Hurd, Catherine O'Hara. We got John Candy in there, Kieran Culkin for like a minute. Adam, you're probably too young for this, but did you see it in the theater?
No, this was in my wheelhouse. I was 8.
Yeah.
I saw this in the theater like 3 or 4 times.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah. And did you love it like the second you saw it? Because I feel like that's the exact right age for this movie.
Yeah, I saw it like the Saturday of opening weekend, I remember. And then we went to Walker Brothers, which I don't know if it's by you, but it's like a fancy pancake house. And I was like, after it was over, I just basically was looking around and thinking in my head, I'm like, did we just have a perfect evening?
That does sound like a perfect evening.
Yeah, no, like the movie just like played. It probably was like my favorite movie the night that I saw it. Like It just connected with me immediately.
Yeah. Margot, did you see it in the theater?
Absolutely, I did. And I think the same thing. I saw it 3 or 4 times. I love this movie. There's just so much more going on here. And I think it's just very sweet and funny. And yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was really funny when I saw it. I was like, this is like a cartoon. And I was fine with that and really, really liked it. And then last year, introduced it to my then 10-year-old. And I've never heard him laugh so hard at a movie. Like, I was like, he's going to pee his pants. Like, I was like afraid for my couch. He loves this movie. He loves the second one too, but he really loves this one. And we've watched it many, many, many times since then. And he laughs every single time. Like the kid stuff works for him. It's told from like his perspective. He's like right at the right age. He loves it. And it's a classic for a reason. People love this movie. They love it.
Yeah, I almost feel like, and maybe this is just me misremembering it because I was so little when it was out, but I feel like the big kind of story or hook with it at the beginning was all of the beating up the burglars,
yes,
all the slapstick stuff. And I feel like over time that's become like way less important. And like people still like that, but like obviously, like how many times can you laugh at the same like slapstick thing? But then like as I've gotten older, I just noticed like little jokes like early in the movie, or like the way that like certain reaction shots, or just like character interactions or things like that. That's the stuff that I find the funniest now. Like all the slapstick stuff, it's like still funny, but it's not like as uproariously amazing as like what it was in 1990.
Yeah.
My friend Kim, Sonia knows Kim.
Yes.
But a couple of years ago, I was over at my friend's house with her 2 sons who were younger then, and they were like 14 and 10, and they were loving the movie. And she looks to me and she says, every time I see this movie, all I can think is that the director was in love with Catherine O'Hara. Like, I think he was madly in love with her because she always looks angelic and beautiful. And like, I cannot get that out of my head now when I watch the movie. Yeah. I'm like, I wonder if Christopher Columbus was like madly in love with her and couldn't say it.
Maybe.
It's a good choice. She's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, she's amazing.
She, for me, I'm like, now as a mom, I guess, like what you're saying, Adam, the slapstick stuff isn't going to click for me the way it did, obviously, when I first saw it. And and now I see that slapstick stuff, and I was like, how are they even walking away from any of these things? Like, realistically, I was like,
they need to be in a hospital.
yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
the minute they fall down the stairs, I was like, they broke something and they should be in the hospital. But that's fine, whatever. You got to let it go. Now it's the mom, the relationship between the mom and the son that like obviously is gonna click for me now, and I feel like she doesn't get enough credit for what she's doing in this movie, which is
She's got the funniest moment in the movie for me now, which is there's like it's total like SCTV thing, like with her and John Candy in the van.
Yes.
And he tells her the story about leaving the kid in the funeral parlor. And you think that's the joke. But the tail of the joke is after the joke is so much funnier where she's just like, maybe we shouldn't talk about this. And then he goes, I don't know, you brought it up. And she's like, and I regret it. And then like the next scene. And it's such a good edit. And it's so funny because it's so realistic to life where it's just like somebody tells you this story and you're just like, oh, Jesus.
She's playing a tough part because technically these are bad parents. I mean, they really fucked up.
Parents.
Yeah.
The families, like, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, it's really hard because I can't get mad at them. I can't stay mad at them. Like, she's so completely freaked out about her. John Hurt, not as much, apparently. But
yeah, he's like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, guess we'll fly tomorrow. He'll figure it out. I mean, but she's completely like, oh, I fucked up. I got to make this right. And just will not, single focused. And you just root for her. You're not mad at her at all.
Yeah. Well, she acts like a parent who realized that she just left her son home alone. Like where the rest of the family's like, I don't know, I guess we'll hang out at Uncle Rob's. And it's like, what? It's like a real family would like never leave that airport unless it's on an airplane. Like they wouldn't go somewhere else.
Right.
It's like, you're not going to get a flight out of Uncle Rob's house. It's like, I mean, and then
it's a nice house, though, I have to say.
John Hurt is so weird in this movie, like because and I like John Hurt, but like rest in peace. But like, there's another thing where it's just like when they're on the plane and she's like, I think we forgot something, and he's like, yo, I left the garage open. That's it. And I'm like, that's a big fucking deal.
Yeah, they're in a whole ass other country, and their garage is going to be open the whole time.
I'm like, I think it's like one of those separated garages where it's not connected to the house, but like, I'm just like, that's still like, not like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah. Well, and just
I guess I have an obsessive personality. Like if I'm upset about something, I can't not be upset about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, and he just seems like he puts it in a category like, all right, she'll take care of it. Let's just hang out in Paris and I'll call,
Yeah, I'm like, he should have, if anything, like they should have been staying at the airport together, and Uncle Frank and what's-her-face can take care of all of these kids back at Rob's.
Right.
Like, but maybe they thought she would have more luck on her own, or maybe that's just not what the movie is and I should let it go. But I love her in this movie.
I don't know if like anybody else thinks this, but like every time I see Uncle Frank, I just think it's Gene Siskel.
Yes.
He does look like Gene Siskel.
Okay, and he's also, I hate it when he calls Kevin a little jerk. I just think like, you're a grown man and words matter. And he gets sent to the attic, which sounds terrible. But then that attic is really nice and cozy. Like,
no, he's
the whole vacation there.
I'm like actually,
yes.
Uncle Frank he is a bit of a villain. Like, first of all, he's
a cheapskate.
He's a cheapskate. He doesn't pay for the pizza. He calls an 8-year-old a jerk in like a really angry, rude way.
Yeah,
like not in a fun way. And like he gets on the plane, he's like stealing shit off the plane. Like,
are the drinks free? Can we have some champagne? Drinks free?
Yeah, and then he's like back at Uncle Rob's, like eating all their food and like just being a dick. I'm like, you're the real villain, Uncle Frank.
And I know it's a movie, but like it's so horrible that like he calls Kevin a little jerk in front of everybody, and like even his parents don't say like
They don't. Yeah,
Frank,
they don't rein
shut
him
up.
in.
Yeah.
Like if that happened like in my family, Uncle Frank would be thrown out of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Nobody talks to my kid like that. I would definitely have to have Uncle Frank leave. Actually, I'd throw a drink in his face is what I would do. Don't talk to my boy like that.
But did he have the charger? Did he have the international charger at least?
Oh, that's why they're so
That is a
that's
big
why they're
thing you
so
need.
nice
She's
to
like,
him.
I know, because she's like, oh, I didn't get one. I'm like, what do you mean you didn't get one? Do you understand?
You could throw the milk that they're trying to get through before they go on vacation in Uncle Frank's face.
That would be great.
I feel so bad for Kevin. I don't think Kevin's a little jerk. I think
No,
everyone
he's a little kid.
he's just
His
a
family
kid.
sucks. Like that's one thing. Like, yeah, I mean, he's a kid, and then he's acting like a brat. But like, then if you take like 2 seconds to look around at like what he's dealing with, it's just like he just wants to have like a normal Christmas with a normal family, and his family's insufferable.
Well, they treat him like he's the baby. I don't know how many fucking kids. There's so many kids in this movie. I'm like, he must get ignored a lot
Yeah.
Yeah.
because he's the youngest.
No, he doesn't have a younger brother. That's his Kieran Culkin. Isn't
Well, I
that
think
him
that's
with
his
the
cousin.
glasses?
That's
Or
one
that's
of
a
Uncle
cousin.
Frank's kids.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah,
he
that's
wets the
same.
bed. He's gonna
Yeah.
pee all over me.
I kind of like his older brother, even though he's a douchebag. I think is that his Frank? What's his name? The brother?
Oh,
Buzz.
Buzz
Buzz. I do like Buzz. He's fun. He's funny. I think he's really hilarious.
with his spider. Blech. Blech. I do actually. I do think the running thing with the spider like showing up every once in a while in the house does make me laugh. And
Hmm.
like, not to get too ahead, but when he puts the spider on Daniel Stern, I laugh really, really hard every time.
His scream is hilarious.
Yes. Like all that stuff with the spider where he like hits Joe Pesci and then Joe Pesci hits him. How do you like it? Like all of that makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Maybe because the spider it's like, that's a nightmare. Ugh, I don't even want it to look at me. Yuck.
I tried reading up on this and I couldn't find anything. And I'm curious if either of you knew. Like, Joe Pesci seems like a weird get for this movie at the time. He did some comedy, like he was in that Rodney Dangerfield movie, and then he was in like I think a couple other like
The Super.
the Super came after.
Yeah,
this.
that was after this, right?
Was it after?
Yeah, because he had like a whole comedy run like after this. Because like this and Goodfellas, like him winning the Oscar for Goodfellas, like really
Dude,
kind of upped his.
It's the same
profile.
year. This is like that's
Within 2 months. Like
Yes.
Goodfellas was September and this was November. It's like imagine him in August being like, I don't know, and then like in December he's like the king of the world.
it's so bananas to me that like Goodfellas and Home Alone came out at the same year, that the Joe Pesci who's running around Home Alone going sounding like Yosemite Sam, and then won the Oscar for Goodfellas. That's amazing.
Yeah.
He apparently tried to stay in character and avoided Macaulay Culkin, except for their scenes when they were filming, because he wanted the kid to be really afraid of him. Because he's only like 5 feet tall, right? I mean, he's not imposing, but like Macaulay Culkin apparently was like terrified of him.
I get it.
Yeah.
And Blossoms, what's his name? Blossoms Roberts, the old man.
Robert's Blossom, I think.
Robert's
Blossom. That's a name.
Which I thought was a typo when I was a kid.
No, he was in Slaughterhouse 5, which came out in like 70. He must have always looked old. He must have been just like
Born old.
One of those actors.
Yes. The Wilford Brimley, Brian Dennehy.
Kathy Moriarty. Yeah, Kathy Moriarty. Like they're just born middle-aged looking.
Born old.
I love his scenes with Macaulay Culkin. I really like that stuff. But the old neighbor, and it turns out
Yeah.
they get to be friends. And then I love it when he's reunited with his family.
It's so sweet.
I find it very sweet.
Oh, spoilers for Home Alone, everybody. Way to go, Margot. When I was reading about this movie, it was the second highest grossing movie that year. And I was like, that makes sense. Family movie, everybody can see it. People probably saw it multiple times. But it came out in November.
Right.
And then the number one movie was Ghost. Ghost came out in the summer. And that's another thing that's like bananas to me, that it made so much fucking money in like 2 months that it was the number 2 movie of the year. And Ghost ran, through the summer, like probably through the fall.
Yeah.
And was like, that's a lot of money in a short period of time. And I know it played in the theater until like the following spring.
Yeah.
Because things used to stay in the theater longer.
Spring break or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a big deal when it came out on VHS.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could bring Home Alone to your home. Deal.
You sound like a VHS retailer, Margo.
Right?
Yeah.
Missed my calling.
Mm-hmm. Alone no more. Bring it home.
In a world.
In a world
And then there'd
where you
always
live
be like
alone.
a coupon in there. They're just like, you can get $1 off of 30 jugs of ocean spray. And it's like, and then like kids around America are like, I guess we gotta get ocean spray. How do I convince my parents? I was such a sucker for those things where it was like, I'm just like, I think we need Teddy Grahams. And then my parents would be like, why does he want Teddy Grahams so much? And then we go to the grocery store and they're like, oh, that's why.
Yeah.
I forgot about Teddy Grahams.
Yeah.
There's
I never stopped thinking about it.
I also love Kevin's line of, when I'm grown up and get married, I'm living alone.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm like, poor
That's one
Kevin.
thing I like so much about Macaulay Culkin in this movie is that, there's so many kid performers who are good in their own right, but they're like, the sun will come up tomorrow. And like, Macaulay Culkin is just like a real kid who's like very unaffected. He reacts the way a normal kid would. He's like says things that are funny just because they're like weirdly deep for a child.
Yes.
Stuff like that. It's like his delivery is sort of stilted and kind of strange and stuff like that. Like, it just works so well.
Yes. He did it so well in Uncle Buck that they decided to make a whole movie about it. Like,
Yeah.
because he's so funny in Uncle Buck when he's quizzing John Candy. Like, why?
Yes, yes, that's the best scene.
It's the best scene. He's so funny in that, and just he does occasionally have these like little adult moments, like where he's at the grocery store and he's I've got a coupon for that, and
I like when he says like, I'll give it a whirl.
Like, he's just so, like, you just like him so much. He's not obnoxious.
No.
You really, really like him, and I think he's just adorable. Everybody drink. He's so adorable. And all the stuff when he's first left alone, he's like, I made my family disappear. Like, and then he's like jumping on the bed and running, and like all the like going through buzzes. I'm going through your private stuff. You better come out and pound me. Like, he's just so funny. Like,
and the stuff that he wants to do when he's home alone is so on brand for what a kid his age would want to do. It's like, I want to jump on the bed and eat popcorn. I want to eat ice cream and watch The Grinch. I want to order my own pizza, stuff like that. It's so like, just, I don't know, not over the top. It's really well done.
I'm like, would he really watch an old gangster movie from like the 30s? Probably not, but that's okay. Because I think it's
he really likes that movie.
He really likes that movie.
It comes in handy for him. He's got it edited down to.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah. Well, Uncle Frank says he can't watch it.
Yeah,
so
that's why he has to watch it. Good call.
How disappointed are you that that's not a real movie? I totally want to see that movie.
I want to watch that movie.
Yeah.
Angel
The
with
filthy animals.
Angel with dirty faces, and then what? In the second one, it's angels with even dirtier faces or something like that.
Is that movie supposed to be like pre-code? Because it's very violent.
It is very violent.
Exactly.
It's like it's super violent, but he uses the word keister.
Yeah. No good.
I use the word keister. Maybe that's my
I'm
problem.
gonna start using the word keister.
Yeah, it's fun.
I love it. I would
Yeah.
watch that movie.
I really like the part. Me and Patrick from At This Movie disagree on this part because he thinks it's sad and I think it's hilarious. When Kevin's walking home after shopping and the bags break and he just kind of makes this look at the camera like, are you fucking kidding me? I think it's like one of the funniest things in the movie. And then he's just like, no, I feel sad for him. I'm like, it's a movie though. I don't know.
I'm Team Adam on this one. I thought it was an unexpectedly funny moment.
I think it's sad.
Interesting.
They didn't double bag that shit. I mean, he's a kid. He's walking by himself.
They didn't double bag that shit.
He gets the army men and he's like, it's for the kids.
So, what's your favorite serious injury in the movie?
I think burning Joe Pesci's head is pretty intense.
He just stands there for a really long time. That must hurt so bad. They do just walk off these injuries. I don't know how they do it.
Especially the foot injuries. Like, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Oh my God, the foot trauma. The Daniel Stern foot trauma in this movie.
And falling down those steps, those icy steps. Like, I thought it was hilarious a long time ago, but now it just gives me complete
now we're totally triggered by it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're gonna fracture your elbows, kids. Don't do that.
Your tailbone, that'll take weeks to heal.
I had trouble like getting out of an Uber with a backpack on the other day. It was like a van. And I was just like, I'm like, I can't imagine like any of the Home Alone shit.
I'm like, I hurt my back once reaching for a piece of pizza. Like, I can't hardly watch them fall without like feeling like, oh no, what a nightmare.
Yeah.
I love all the stuff with the tarantula and the stuff with the icy stairs. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's something cartoony that just makes me laugh.
I kind of like the double one where it's like I think it's like when he burns his hand on the doorknob and then like he slips on the ice. Also, like I think I like that one the most. Apparently there's like a stunt where it's like you slip backwards and you're airborne. And like stunt people called that the Home Alone.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Look at
I
that.
You're
guess
not making
it was
that up?
done so well in this movie, or like it was the first time they did it, or something. I don't know.
I like the fact that there's a stunt called the Home Alone. That's like very specific because it does tell you what it is in your head.
Yeah.
Pull a Home Alone. Got it.
Do both of you like or dislike Home Alone 2?
I've never seen it.
Okay.
I like Home Alone too, actually.
I do too.
I don't
never
like
really
it as
understood the
Yeah.
bad rep for it.
I don't like it as much as this one,
No.
but I think there is really funny stuff in it, and I think Tim Curry is
Mhm.
I think it's worth it just for the like shot of like the Grinch smiling and then it like turns into Tim Curry smiling.
Yeah.
Like the whole
Yeah.
movie's worth it just for that. But I mean, it's more of the same, but I think it's funny. And I like, was it Brenda Fricker as the pigeon lady? I actually like her.
Yeah. I understand the argument of, it's just a carbon copy of the first one, but it's like, it's a sequel to a children's movie that's a comedy. It's like, you don't have to always reinvent the wheel, like for a sequel. Like, I don't expect to have like massive character depth, like added.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I love Die Hard too. I think
Yeah,
it's great. Yeah,
I
it's
like Die
more,
Hard 2 a lot. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's
like
more of what I like.
it's more of what you like, and then they include new settings and new like supporting characters and things like that, and that's how you keep it fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then similar to like in Home Alone 1, where they put the spider on Daniel Stern, and this one he's covered in pigeons and he's like, ah! And he's screaming. So good.
When does Trump show up?
When Kevin's walking around the Plaza Hotel about to check in.
Yeah, that part is you.
Unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Do they have trading cards of it?
It's only for a second.
Yeah.
But do they have like NFT trading cards of it?
His fans are his people. They're so stupid. They're so dumb. They're such grifters. Like they just don't. Ugh, whatever.
I was surprised they didn't include. Seriously, I was very surprised they didn't include that in all the other things that they had. For
and
that.
his like fake Time magazine covers and.
Yeah, they missed an opportunity.
I think the thing that offends me the most about that is they're not even cool trading cards.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
They're lame as hell. It's like the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
You're like, oh, it's so presidential trading cards.
Your favorite president, even more than Lincoln or George Washington, perhaps. Okay.
I went to in Chicago. There's this place called The Brood, and it's a horror movie themed coffee shop. But next door to it is like an old like retro toy store. Like they have like different media things in there, and they had packs of trading cards. And it was like MTV pop stars from the 90s. So me and my friend each bought a pack. And it was the most fun I've had all month. We were like sitting and just being like, I'll trade you a Kylie Minogue for a ZZ Top. Where it's just like, you can have my share, but I want one of your NKOTBs.
That's amazing.
It's just
such
like
an innocent time.
It was like I was looking through it. I'm like, I got, so and so, I got so and so, I got Kathy Dennis, and then like my friend's just like, I got a Kathy Dennis too.
That sounds so fun.
Yeah, better than those Trump cards.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, you can hold them in your hands. Like that's the whole thing about a card is you're supposed to be able to hold it in your hands, not digital.
Yeah.
Right. I would love the Home Alone cards.
They had Home Alone 2 cards. I don't think they had Home Alone ones.
Oh, let me ask you a question, please.
Yes.
Yeah.
About Home Alone 2. How come he's alone? What happened?
They're at the airport, and Kevin is looking for batteries for his Talk Boy. Do you remember the Talk Boy thing?
No.
That was like the toy tie-in for that movie. It was basically like a tape recorder with a microphone where you can distort your voice and things like that. So Kevin was looking for batteries for the Talk Boy, and he got distracted, and he's like, him and his family are late for the airplane, so they're running through the terminal and all this stuff like that. He thinks that he's following John Hurd, loses track of him, starts following another guy who's wearing the same coat, and ends up on the plane for New York instead of the plane for Miami.
Oh my God.
New York. But the thing that's weird is like, it seems like on these planes in both Home Alone movies, there's like no reserve seating. It's just like open seating. And it's like,
Yeah.
That's full seating for the plane.
Which I think like Southwest does open seating, but I don't know. Like there's it's just very different.
Yeah. These are definitely like pre 9/11 things. Like the fact that they can leave their house and get to the airport and on the plane in 45 minutes is pretty impressive. That would not happen.
Yeah. There's a lot of like bit characters or I wouldn't even say characters, they're just like extras who have like one line that make me laugh in the original Home Alone. One of them is the woman at the gate when she's letting the McAllisters on the plane, and it's just like a herd of them running, and her first reaction is just like having like her eyes are like bugging out of her head. Like, Jesus Christ, there's way too many McAllisters.
So many of them.
It's like the shot of like in The Lion King where he sees all the wildebeest stretching.
Or Jurassic Park where they're being chased. You know, they hide behind the log.
Brody when he sees the Kittner boy get eaten. I like her. I like the ComEd guy who's just like, oh, it take Ma Bell a couple days to get your power. I like that guy. I like when Kevin steals the toothbrush and the old lady's just like, Jimmy, stop that boy. And he kind of does like this Heisman Trophy pose and then starts running.
So let me ask you a question, Adam.
Yeah.
About the neighborhood where they filmed this movie. Like, what's it really like there? What are the homes like? And how much do they cost?
I'd have to look up how much there. Well, I take that back. I read something where it sold in, I don't know, like the last 5 years, and the house was like $2.5 million or something like that.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's in Winnetka, I believe, which is like a pretty rich suburb of like the Chicagoland area. It's maybe like, I don't know, like a half hour away from Chicago. And I went there. So the interior of the house is not the house. That they built that like in a gymnasium. The exterior is the house in Winnetka. And I went there like when the pandemic started, because one of the things I was doing to kill time was, since I couldn't go anywhere, like I was just driving around in my car and looking at like shooting locations of different movies.
Oh my
so like Home Alone.
That's I love that so much.
Yeah. So like Groundhog Day, Home Alone, stuff like that. So I drove to the Home Alone house on like a Sunday morning in March. So like nobody was there. It's gated. So like you can still see it, but like it's like a real big fence. So like you can't climb over it and things like that. It's funnily enough, like it's the smallest house on that street by far.
Really?
It's like really nice, but like it looks like the pauper house compared to all these other houses.
That is so, because they make it look like it's the most glamorous house on the street in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but it's, I mean, like clearly it's like a really beautiful house, and like a lot of people will go there like during the Christmas season to kind of check it out and everything like that and whatnot. So it's pretty nice.
Do they decorate it for the holidays? Or
sure
are they just like, don't come here?
Yeah, I mean, like I know that a lot of times, like I think I heard like it became sort of like a tourist trap, and like people in the neighborhood were a little frustrated about that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I don't know, you should just be happy you live across the street from the McAllisters.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, they hardly ever decorate the Pacific Heights place here in San Francisco. Just saying.
The Pacific Heights house.
Yeah,
from the movie?
the Pacific Heights house.
that we
Exactly. Or the Mrs. Doubtfire house. They're never decorated.
My friend's uncle, this is in the 80s, he did this, but we worked together at a magazine. Her uncle bought the Amityville Horror House in Amityville. And it was like a few years after the movie and the book came out, and he was totally shocked how cheap it was, and then he was totally shocked at how many weirdos showed up at the door like all year round. And came from all over the world. And his brother, my friend's father, was like, yeah, asshole. Like, what did you think was going to happen? But the city of Amityville does not like Halloween, and they do not like that people come around just to, because it was actually where a house where murder was committed earlier. But anyway, yeah.
Hey, Margot, you can get a 1992 Topps Home Alone 2 Lost in New York trading cards factory sealed box of 36 packs on eBay for $74.95.
Tell me Rob Schneider's in there. I'm in.
Of course there's a Rob Schneider card. There's a card that you can get of Kevin eating ice cream in the Plaza Hotel, and it says, "This is the life." And that's $29.
All right. You got to do it.
I have to see the second movie, and if I think it's worth it, I'll check it out.
Yeah. Because me and Patrick have kind of had like this running joke about Chris Columbus for a few months.
Yes.
I bought him the turtle doves from Home Alone.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now I want to buy the turtle doves. I'm writing this
You
down.
can get them pretty cheap on Amazon.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it for me and Calvin. Turtle doves. And he'll be like, whatever, Mom, but I'll like it. What's your favorite performance in this movie? Is it Macaulay Culkin?
Yeah.
I think it's Catherine. I think as the mom, I think if you don't like her, if you're not rooting for her, it's kind of an angry spot in the movie. Like I'm never mad when I see her. I'm actually heartbroken because she really just radiates that she feels terrible and she just wants to be home and just wants to give her boy a hug and let him know he's okay.
Yeah.
And I feel that from her. And she's so beautiful and radiant and funny and smart. And I just think, like, I don't know. I'm a fan.
They did such a good job casting someone like her for that role. Because it could have been a shrill, bitchy mom. And she radiates.
Dumb and spacey.
Yes, exactly. Just even
Christopher Columbus was in love with her. That's it.
Even the scene where, like, right before she meets John Candy, she's trying to get on a plane, and the woman's like, "I can't help you. Like, there's nothing I can do." And, like, they let the next customer come up, and she says, like, "Oh, I see you've got your ticket there. How good for you that you get to get on." And then she's like, "You need to," like, and she just pushes her aside and, like, goes back. Like, just little stuff like that. It's so funny. Like, and all of her stuff with John Candy, like, where he's described, like, "You may have heard of us," and he lists, like, all these hits, quote unquote, like. Yeah. Polka Polka Polka, or like Christmas Polka Twist. No, we sold 423 copies of that one. Like, it's all so good. What about you, Adam? Who's your favorite?
I mean, I think it's got to be Macaulay Culkin, but like, there's a lot of other performances that are real close. Like Daniel Stern is really great.
Funny.
Yeah. Yeah, but I just think the Macaulay Culkin performance is like, the movie doesn't work unless he's as good as he is in it.
And likable.
Yeah.
He's so likable. I mean,
just look at like Home Alone 3 as evidence. It's like, there's something to be said about just like somebody who has an it factor. No offense, Alex D. Linz, but I'm sure he's gotten over it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like the movie was a huge hit on the shoulders of like a kid who's never been a lead in a movie before.
Yeah. He's my favorite performance, but Catherine O'Hara's real close.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
I know somebody who saw Macaulay Culkin in a play before he did this movie. So he was a couple of years younger and he was really little and so cute. And they said it's like a spotlight on the stage when he walks on the stage and he's holding like this jar of pennies for whatever the scene needs. And she said, as soon as the light shone on him, the entire audience went, "Oh, he's so cute."
Yes.
He definitely had it.
Yeah. He had such a weird career after this. Just because, I mean, obviously, like, he was sort of, stage managed by his family and things like that. And that's a sad story in itself. But, like, you would just think, obviously it makes sense for him to go into, Home Alone 2 and stuff like that. But then, like, My Girl is, like, a really weird choice for, like, it's like America's darling kid. And it's like, let's kill him with bees.
Spoiler.
Sorry.
Have you seen that movie's making the rounds again on social media where like Gen Z is discovering My Girl and the millennials are like, don't do it. Don't watch this.
It'll fuck you up for a long time.
And then Yeah, and then like The Good Son is such a weird choice because it's like only 3 years after Home Alone, and
Yeah.
he's just like, I have to pivot, and it's like you're
Yeah,
I'm
he's
being
just
typecast.
He's just a kid. He's just
and
a
then
kid.
like a year after The Good Son, he's in Richie Rich, and it's like this self-reflexive, like it's hard being the most popular child on earth thing.
Yeah.
And it's like something like a 35-year-old man with a midlife crisis would be going through, and it's just like he's so young. It's just a really, I mean, no, I'm happy for him that he's like, basically retired from show business, and he's married and has a kid, and he seems to be like pretty well adjusted now.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it when he tweeted out on his 40th birthday and basically said sorry because people were like, I'd be like, good God, I'm ancient. Yeah.
Yeah, I want him to be okay. Like,
Yeah.
I worry all the time about child actors. I want them to be okay. So it seems like he's in a good place now, so that's good. But it's super weird to go from this to like Home Alone 2, The Good Son. What, the Page Master was in there? I'm like,
yeah, I mean, and it all happened in such like a short period of time because he was, a child actor from like Uncle Buck in '89 till like the end of '94 when they did like Page Master and Richie Rich, and then he just kind of was on a break until Party Monster or something like 10 years later when he was all grown up.
And he dated Mila Kunis for like 10 years or something.
Yeah.
I totally forgot that.
Yeah.
He's in a funny there's a YouTube channel where it's the Angry Video Game Nerd, and Macaulay Culkin showed up in an episode a few years ago, and it was really funny because it was like they were playing all of the video games based on Macaulay Culkin movies. And
I didn't know. Is there a Good Son video game?
There's no Good Son video game, but like I might be misremembering. This might be a Mandela effect thing, but I remember like Macaulay Culkin playing himself as Kevin in like the Nintendo Home Alone game, and he was doing really bad, and they're just like, "What's wrong with you? You went through this already."
That is so funny.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a video game from My Girl.
Run from the bees! Run! Run!
He's got like a bow and arrow or something, and she's like shooting them. She's like, "Run, Henry, run!"
That movie fucked me up.
Thomas Gray, Henry's Good Son. Sorry.
I did not know that was going to happen in that movie.
No one did.
No one
How
did.
Could you ever know?
What the fuck with that
you?
movie? Seriously, what the fuck? That movie.
Yeah. I remember seeing My Girl like when it was in theaters, and it was like we were at like the Woodfield Mall in like the suburbs of Chicago, and like it's like the holidays, so like everybody's just kind of like, yeah, let's get together and see the new Macaulay Culkin movie. And it's like not sobbing, but you could see like dozens of kids just crying because the kid that they love from Home Alone like was killed by bees, and it just seems so arbitrary, and it's just like, is that going to happen to me, Mom and Dad? And it's like, no, this is a movie. It's just like,
did you ever see Rocket Gibraltar? It came out in '88, and it's Burt Lancaster, Susie Amos, Patricia Clarkson, Frances Conroy, all these redheads. And then their husbands are Bill Pullman, John Glover, and Kevin Spacey.
I do not know this movie.
Yeah, Burt
Lancaster. I was really
I know. Sorry. He actually does a really funny Johnny Carson impersonation here. But anyway, he plays this guy, and he's an old man, and he's dying, Burt Lancaster, and his family's coming to spend like one last summer with him. And he wants to die the Viking death where, you get in that boat and you light the boat on fire and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's a whole thing where, spoiler, he dies and the kids kidnapped his body, and they actually perform this service for him.
Oh my God.
And it's really bizarre movie. I think I'm sure you can rent it. It's called Rocket Gibraltar, but it reminds me, Burt Lancaster, somebody told me a story once about that they went to ASU, Arizona State University, and they would take gigs to make extra money at college. And Burt Lancaster was filming in Phoenix, and they wanted to drive him home to LA because he didn't like flying and he was really old at the time. And so they said, just drive him overnight. He'll be in the back seat. He'll just be laying back there. You don't have to worry about anything. Can you do this? And he's going to get paid a couple $100. And he's like, fine. And he said they put him in the back seat. He's snoring. He's like, fine. So he gets him, and they get on the highway, and goes, all of a sudden, Burt Lancaster wakes up, and he could see him in the rearview mirror, and he just goes, it started in 1921
Oh my God.
when I did my first picture.
No,
and then he didn't shut up for the rest of the fucking ride. Like all he just did was told stories, which is one of my favorite things ever.
Person's like, did not sign up for this.
He called action, and he just woke up.
I could just imagine. You're going to take this meditative ride, and that's LA, and all of a sudden, just,
Oh my
that would
God.
be hell for me, because when I see Burt Lancaster, like when I saw Burt Lancaster in Field of Dreams, I was just like, you think you're so fucking great, don't you?
you have anger
No,
about the doc.
I just don't like him. I like there's just certain especially when like a certain character is like syrupy and whimsical and stuff like that in a movie. Like it can either work for me or it could really not work for me. And
Rocket
that's,
Gibraltar, you would hate it.
Yeah, and when I saw like Burt Lancaster, I'm just like, you think you're so fucking charming.
Have you ever seen The Sweet Smell of Success?
Yes.
Is that what it's called? Yeah, he's good in that.
I did not like The Sweet Smell of Success.
Oh,
I know
okay.
it's sacrilege, but I'm
No,
not
that's
a fan
fine.
of that movie. Yeah.
All right, it's okay.
That's okay.
I don't like
It's
that guy.
okay. I mean, you can't
I don't
come
like
back.
him one bit.
You can't come back
You
to
don't
the
like him at
show,
all.
but that's
I don't
fine.
like the cut of his jib.
It began in 1921.
That sounds like a terrible ride.
Oh, yeah, it was just like horrifying, apparently.
It's like when I saw that Pete's Dragon remake with Robert Redford, and as I was listening to him talk, I'm like, oh, his voice sounds like clam chowder poured on snapping twigs.
What? I'm not sure I understand that.
But yet it's exactly what his voice sounds like.
Yeah.
It's like if you went into the forest and you were stepping on twigs and they were snapping, but then you decided to open up a can of like clam chowder soup and pour it on.
So it's like
Creamy or not?
like sloppy, like
I'm going to get some of that when I'm in Provincetown.
It's just like drippy and potatoey.
Just going to walk in the woods
Snappy.
and get some clam chowder.
Yeah.
that
Why
is-
can't Redford and Lancaster be the robbers and they're beating the shit out of them?
Yeah, they weren't
That
even.
would be like, it would
They
go from,
did-
like,
they
one of
weren't
my
even on
favorite
the
movies to my
list.
favorite movie.
They weren't even on the list for that. I saw that it was like De Niro was on the list and like John Lovitz was on the list for these
Yeah.
roles.
So you're hating all Robert Redford's canon of work, or later?
No,
Okay.
I like a lot of Redford movies. Except I like the ones that I had to go back to before I was born. The stuff like basically from The Natural onward, I'm just not a fan of.
Gotcha.
I get it.
Gotcha.
But
Understood.
like anything with him, with like his collaborations with George Roy Hill and stuff like that are great. Like I really like a lot of his like late 60s, early 70s stuff.
Did you ever see The Hot Rock?
I knew Margot was going to say this.
I've
Yeah,
not seen it. No.
It's on Criterion every once in a while. It's fucking dope.
It's
It's him and
Okay.
George Siegel, Moses Gunn.
really good
Okay.
heist movie. Really fun.
Really great heist movie. Yeah.
Cool.
But it has a soundtrack, and it's Quincy Jones, and it's one of his first, and he has the Wrecking Crew, and he has these really amazing studio musicians, and the soundtrack is so good. I'm convinced that Dr. Dre like memorized the soundtrack because he samples it all the time in his music. Like, and I think that's why it's not available on DVD or it's not streaming, because the soundtrack probably is really expensive, the rights. But
Mhm.
it's an awesome movie, and it's like Redford at his fucking best.
Okay.
I
Is it
I
as good
recommend.
as Home Alone though?
No.
Then I'm
No.
just gonna watch Home Alone again. That should be the new criteria. Just like I just saw I just saw Tar, and it's like, is it as good as Home Alone? And it's like, no. Then I'm just gonna watch Home Alone.
That's
Is Tar any
fair.
good?
I haven't seen Tar. I know some people like love it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the publicity tour of Kate Blanchett and Todd Field going to places together. Like they did the Criterion Closet and stuff. Like they can make a movie of that, and I'd be into it. It's all the conducting stuff I probably wouldn't be interested in.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen the movie yet.
Did you know Home Alone was nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Picture and Best Actor in a Comedy?
I did.
Was that Macaulay Culkin?
Yes.
He deserves it.
He did not win.
Who won?
I think we all know how much everybody loves Gerard Depardieu in Green Card.
I was gonna say we need to cover that movie one day because that's a bizarre movie that I have a fascination with.
Yeah.
But he's fucking unlikable in that movie.
Yeah. Also,
Wow.
the other
Globes.
performances nominated for musical comedy, I don't understand because I don't know if Patrick Swayze in Ghost counts as a musical or comedy. Is Ghost a comedy?
Yeah.
See,
No,
I don't.
That's so much a drama of those categories they could have put it in.
Whoopi Goldberg makes it the comedy. So yeah, I think we're both right.
And then Richard Gere from Pretty Woman is nominated.
He's good in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp
He's-
for Edward Scissorhands
Sure.
Ugh.
and Macaulay Culkin for Home Alone. I'm like,
Macaulay Culkin's the best of all of them.
yeah, I agree.
Wipes the floor with them.
Yeah. And then Green Card won musical or comedy too. And
No.
and beat
It's a
Home
real
Alone.
banner year for the card.
Yeah.
Oof.
I did look at like the awards and the IMDb trivia thing, and it struck me how like I would have sworn like, you know, Macaulay Culkin would have won like a Nickelodeon award or like a People's Choice Award or something like that. But it looked like the Nickelodeon awards or the MTV awards, it's like those were created because they're just like, we need to invent a show where Home Alone would have won.
Yeah. And Speed.
And Speed.
Movies like that. Yeah, they're just super popular.
Yeah.
Speed is the best.
Speed's fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to hear about the other movies that were released in November 1990?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Graffiti Bridge,
Not
I've never
good.
seen it.
Jacob's Ladder.
I like
Really?
Jacob's Ladder. It's weird.
It's really good.
That also has Macaulay
Culkin's in Jacob's
Culkin.
Ladder.
That's
Yeah.
right. I totally forgot until just now. That
He's
movie's
a dead kid in that one too.
He's so good at playing dead kids.
Yeah.
That movie's terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Child's Play 2.
It's pretty good.
I like the first one. Actually, no, I definitely saw the second one, but I haven't seen it since the theater. Psycho 4, The Beginning.
I haven't seen that one.
No, thank you.
The Rescuers Down Under.
Oh,
I
I
remember-
love The Rescuers.
I remember liking that, and then in theaters it was exciting because they did this thing where they played the Disney short of The Prince and the Pauper with Mickey Mouse before the
Oh,
Rescuers
yes.
Down Under. So they would play that, and then they had like a 15-minute intermission with like an animated clock on the screen, and then they played The Rescuers. And even at the time, I thought it was so funny that like there was an intermission for what was as a whole maybe like an hour and a half.
Yes. Also, kids don't like that shit. Like younger kids,
No.
they lose their shit.
Yeah.
They don't like
Yeah.
it. And they don't like it when animated movies end. They just want them to go on forever. So,
Mhm.
like, kids cry at the end of movies all the time because they just want to be with the Rescuers Down Under forever.
Yeah.
I get it.
I get it. Rocky 5.
Which
I
one's
like
that
that.
one?
I don't know. Which one is that? The good question. I don't know.
It's Rocky loses all of his money because of Uncle Paulie, of course. And
Uncle Paulie,
he
man.
has to move back to the neighborhood, and he has to fight Tommy Gunn. And it's very much influenced by the Mike Tyson era of boxing, because there's a guy in it who's like a complete facsimile for Don King.
Okay.
That sounds good.
It's real like corny, but like it was a notorious kind of bomb at the time, or like people just, I don't know about financially, but like people just like made fun of it. And I don't think it's nearly as bad as people say that it is.
I like the Rocky movies.
Yeah.
We talked about Rocky. We've done Rocky.
Yeah.
Show. Okay.
Yeah, Creed, yeah.
Dances with Wolves.
Yes, we've talked about that one before.
We didn't do an episode.
No,
we in a long time. Is it like real bad now?
There's if you're talking about like white saviorism and stuff like that, yeah. I think the performances are good. I think it feels longer than it did at the time. At the time, we had an intermission for the movie, and I remember the whole audience was like, "Why do we need an intermission? This is great." Now I feel like, yeah, I need an intermission from this movie. Yeah.
I can't watch it because they kill the wolf in it, and it makes me sob. Spoilers for Dances with Wolves, everybody.
God damn it.
But Two Socks gets killed, and I just can't have it.
No.
Apparently, I can deal with everything else that happens in the movie, but not them killing a wolf.
Lots of
Shame.
buffalo killed.
Yeah,
Shit.
shame on me. Predator 2.
That movie is amazing.
I love the first one.
Seen it.
I've seen the second one.
Stephen Hopkins, the second most underrated director of all time after Chris Columbus.
Okay, 2 more movies. 3 Men and a Little Lady.
Not great. The first one was great.
That movie's hot diarrhea shit. I hate it.
That's an excellent description. Did any of you guys watch the like holiday movie that came out that's like the 3 wise men and a baby?
I saw the ad for it when I was watching Christmas of the Golden Dragon, but I did not watch it.
Okay, my friend Christine watched it and she said it was really good. And I was like, all right, I'll put it on my holiday list, but I haven't watched it yet. And then the last one is Misery.
Great movie.
That movie's amazing.
It's so good.
Really amazing. I saw it recently and it really fucking holds up.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, it does.
Okay, so even though I posted this already, I'm going to do this more often, but
Yes.
These are the top 10 songs, November 7th, 1990. Number 10, From a Distance, Bette Midler.
Couldn't get away from that one.
Yeah. God, no,
Is that from Beaches also?
No, it's after Beaches.
Yeah, it's
a couple
after
years.
Beaches.
Okay.
I Don't Have the Heart, James Ingram.
Oh my God, that
gee.
song rules.
I don't have the heart.
I love I went through like a phase of listening to that like a lot. Like
Aw.
it was like in the past 6 months. And there was a music video for it, and I really love it because he shows up and there's like a band like waiting for him, and then he just shows up like late, and then he just like walks in like he's the man, sits down at a piano, he's just like, I don't have the heart, take from the top, 1, 2, 3, and then it goes da, 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 and I'm like, he just comes in, makes hits, leaves.
Okay, this is number 8, Because I Love You, the Postman song, Stevie B.
I used to love that song.
Yeah.
Stevie B is underrated.
Yep.
Yeah. Poison, Something to Believe In.
Sure.
They were going for that Christian rock kind of thing.
Yep.
Pre-Creed. Of course, number 6, Vanilla Ice, Ice Ice Baby.
It's fucking
Pretty
catchy,
good.
man.
You know, it's
I
catchy
just
as shit.
bought at the grocery store for the F This Movie holiday show, I bought a Yeti doll and it sings Ice Ice Baby.
Nice.
That's great. Number 5, Whitney Houston, I'm Your Baby Tonight. I love that song.
I do
It's a
too.
fantastic song.
That-
Are you
and
going to
that-
see
that
the
video is
Whitney
cute.
Houston movie?
I actually got a screener for it on Tuesday, and I'm debating if I'm going to go or not.
What?
I know. Sorry, Sonia.
Hmm.
I had a friend send it to me. Number 4, Groove is in the Heart by D-Light.
That song
Good.
is rad. I still
Great
love that song.
More Than Words Can Say, Alias.
How does that go?
I don't remember.
It's Extreme, right? Extreme. It's like the one that's like More Than Words. That one.
No, that's
No.
different. No, Alias.
Oh, I'm thinking of something totally different.
Yeah, that song was just called More Than Words.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think I know
let's-
that one.
Yeah. Hey Google, play More Than Words Can Say by Alias. Okay.
Oh, even Google doesn't know it.
It's on YouTube.
It's too slow. Can you hear that?
No.
Oh, it's like some like soft rock.
Is that ringing any bells?
Oh, yes. Yes, I got it.
Okay. Google, stop. Okay. Yeah. Hey Google, stop. All right.
It stopped in 1921.
Number 2, MC Hammer, Pray.
You
We
got to pray just to make it today. That's why we pray.
Did I ever tell you about when I saw Hammer in concert like 3 years ago?
No.
Was he awesome?
It was like it was called Hammer's House Party. It was Hammer, it was the headliner, Kid and Play,
Yes. Oh my gosh.
the Funky Bunch with No Marky Mark.
The best way to see the Funky Bunch, in my opinion.
Sir Mix-a-Lot. I think that was it.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
But yeah, Hammer sang Pray and did not sing Adam's Groove. I was disappointed. But he sang Pray. And like he just led, like the only way I could describe it was like a church version of a conga line. Like all over the concert thing, and it was just like, that's why we pray, just to make it today. It was kind of the greatest thing I've ever seen.
That's
I am
fabulous.
so upset that I did not go to the show because I feel like they made a concert just for me and I didn't
I know.
go.
Yeah.
Those are like all my
That's-
favorites. If they'd put Morris Day and the Time in there, it would have
Yeah.
been my favorite thing
Yeah.
I've ever seen.
Mm,
And number 1, Mariah Carey, Love Takes Time.
it's a good one.
Good one.
Worshipped that album when it came out.
Yeah.
It had Vision of Love on it. Someday.
Mariah's dope.
Oh my God, I loved that so much.
Yeah.
This was so fun. I'm so glad we talked about Home Alone.
This was so much fun. Happy holidays, everyone.
Yes. Adam, where can people find you on the internet?
I'm at fthismovie.com. That's the letter F this movie. And I'm at Riske Adam on Twitter for the time being.
And
Yeah.
you can find him on Reserved Seating on YouTube, which is
Oh,
always
yeah.
so good.
Thank you.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we're doing like a holiday mailbag episode this week.
Nice.
So it's like if anybody has any questions, they can ask us, and that's what topics we'll cover.
What's the email for that?
You can just send it on Twitter to either the F This Movie handle or to me, or you can like leave it on one of the YouTube videos or something like that. So yeah,
Cool.
no email.
Gotcha. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Margot, where can people find you?
You can find me at Brooklyn Fitchick for Twitter while it's still there, and Instagram. My site is brooklynfitchick.com, and my TikTok is at Margot Donahue, and I have the cutest cats in Brooklyn. That's where you can get your good cat content.
Fact. And her book, Filmed in Brooklyn, is available anywhere you want to buy your books. Do it.
Yes,
it
it
makes a
is.
great
Do
gift.
It's so good.
It's so
Thank
good.
you.
My mother asked for a copy for Christmas. I'm like, yes, of course, Mom. Of course. Everybody should be getting it for Christmas.
I'm sorry. There's somebody blaring their radio in their car, like outside my apartment.
Are they playing
Can
more
you hear
than
that?
words? More than words can say.
From Alias? Yes. And then someone's in the backseat saying 1921. Sonia, where can they find you? I'm cracking myself up.
You
here.
can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter and
Moving to the
Instagram
apartment.
and the TikTok. If you like our show, we are at Dorking Out Show on Twitter and Facebook. Our website is dorkingoutshow.com. You can email us at dorkingoutshow@gmail.com and we could send you some stickers. They're real cute. We got a new badge. That is all of our homework. And if you like the sound of our voices, we also host a podcast called What a Creep, where we talk about creeps of the past and the present, and then we end every episode with someone who's not a creep. I loved More Than Words Can Say talking about Home Alone with y'all.
More than words.